Hey guys, welcome back to the Stackin with Stack podcast. We going all the way in today. Today I got a special guest for you guys today. My brother Danny Calafell is coming in. He's coming in hot, coming in crazy hot this episode. We're going to be talking about sales, marketing, execution. It's going to be a crazy episode and he's going to come in crazy hot. Danny, let's go, my brother. I know we coming in. You stepping in any moment. Let's go. Stackin with Stack podcast.
You tell me who on. Gotta go now, I can't prolong. I'm out of space in the ozone. In the spaceship, let it float on. Can't stop me now, nigga, hold on. Double up truck in this black, yeah. Know the one get him intact, yeah. I'm throwing at the black like a bat, yeah. You fuck niggas pop in my back, yeah. That nigga know me to left, yeah. Yeah, who ain't you stand with the scalp, yeah. Jump out to that bar with a right jab. I really didn't know we was right there. I heard a few shots, that's a hot pep. It's gonna be a whole nother sound.
We going all the way in today. I promise you. Sales, marketing, execution. I know my brother Danny's coming in any moment. We going all the way in today. Make sure you guys buckle up, man. Stackin with Stack podcast. Y'all know what time it is, right? He's going in today. We're going in today. I really want you guys to understand that. You know, when you guys listen to my podcast, we go all the way in. It doesn't matter what you guys want to listen to. I'm always going to have something that you can program into, right? My brother Danny just showed up, right? And we're going to be talking about sales, marketing, execution, how to get to the next level, right? So I want my brother Danny to introduce himself. He just stepped in. Danny, I appreciate you, my brother. Can you please introduce yourself before we get into the sales, marketing, and execution, my brother? What's going on?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me.
Look, Danny, man, can you please tell the people what you doing, man? What you up to, brother?
Yeah, man. You want me to start? Where do you want me to start at? You want me to just start at where I'm at now, or
man, Danny, whatever you want, man. This is the Danny show today. Wherever you want to go with it, man. Tell the people what you do, brother.
All right, so let me start with letting you guys know like where I came from. So, you know, before I even got into business, I boxed professionally 18 years. That was my life. That was my career. That was, you know, I ate, slept, dreamt, breathed boxing. And, you know, I did that for 18 years from coming off of the streets, broken home, you know, drugs, you name it. I did it. And, you know, boxing damn near, it saved my life. And, exiting out of boxing was really just me having the thought process of what am I going to do when I'm done. So I got into music, and that was not a very success situation there because I had to depend on other people. And that's what transitioned me into being in a lot more control of, you know, situations, which was sales. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, you know, I dove in and, got my face kicked in so many times, you know, between knocking on doors, making phone calls. I didn't really understand what it was that I was doing. And then, ended up continuing on with my consulting business, really honing in on people that I was very close with and I had built relationships with, and just absorbing as much information, started really studying down and biting down on really understanding the concept of sales. And fast forward today, that company now, I have over 100 people under me on my team and growing.
That's Yo, Danny, that's major, bro. That's major. Let's go.
Yeah, man. This is. I believe this will make I think it's the 11th or 12th year I've had this company now, and it's growing. We're taking off. Like I said, we did 7 figures last year, and now I'm also operating and I own another 2 businesses. I'm with my other partner, we're in acquisitions where we buy companies. We'll buy companies north of 9 million. We hand it to my consulting business. We scale them up and then end up reselling it. And I have a seminar and workshop business. Sheesh. Plus, I have partnerships and relationships that I've built over the years with some of the largest companies in the world, some of the biggest names, one being Grant Cardone.
Sheesh.
So I mean, I'm just rocking and rolling. I'm here to help as many people as I possibly can. While I'm here on this planet, and that's my newly found mission, you could say.
Let's go. Look, my brother Danny just stepped in. I told you I was going to have some value, some heat for y'all, right? So Danny, we going to dive right in, my brother, because today I want to talk about, tips about business plans, sales, marketing, and that execution. And I know that, you dive into that, and that's what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be about that execution, getting to the next level, right? So Danny, first thing I want to get into, my brother, is clearly define your business goals and objectives. How do you feel about that? I know that you work with, multiple businesses, but how do you feel about clearly defining your business goals and the objectives in that business so that way you can get to the next level?
Well, goal setting is very important. You have to have an idea of what it is that you want and where you're going. So I could say, but it has to be deeper than that, because, there's goals of the business, and then there's goals of the individual that's running the business, and the people that you have on your team. Mm-hmm. And not everybody's going to be aligned with the same type of goals that they want. But the ideas, like, I talk about this a lot when it comes to any type of relationship. That's family, personal, and then business, which is what we're talking about. And you have your goals, your personal goals. You have the goals of the other person that's involved, or the other people that are involved. And then you have goals for the business, for the organization that you're looking to either build, that you're a part of. Some people aren't entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people out there that work for other people. And it's very important that they get aligned with not only what they want, but where it is that they're getting involved, that vehicle that they're in is able to take them. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of people lose momentum. So you have business owners that lose momentum, where they were once excited and motivated to keep running their business, which is something that we run into every day. I see business owners that have had a business 10, 15 years, and they don't have the same energy and the same excitement.
They got too comfortable, Danny. They got too comfortable.
They got very comfortable, exactly. And it's the same thing with people that work for that are employees. It's the same thing. I mean, how long have they been there? And then where they once were excited, now they're no longer excited. Now they're dreading those Mondays, and they're excited for those Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, Danny. Look, man, I told y'all Danny was coming in with that heat, with that fire for y'all, right? Now, Danny, the next thing I want to get into, my brother, is identifying that target audience and understanding their needs, because a lot of people will do themselves a disservice going into a field or going into something and not understanding the needs of the field. How important is that, Danny, for you and, for the business that you run, man, identifying that?
Extremely. You got to know you got to know your audience. You got to know who you're selling to. I mean, the number one thing is, what problem can you solve? And if there's no problem, then you're talking to the wrong people. Mm-hmm. I mean, period. You can't make a sale to somebody who doesn't have a problem.
Exactly. You're right, Danny. See.
Yeah, you can't. It's just like going to work for somebody. You can't work for a company that doesn't need what you do.
Exactly. You got to be aligned. If you're not aligned, get out of line. I feel that, Danny. And the next thing I want to talk about, Danny, because identifying your target is real important, guys. Appreciate that, Danny. The next one is, conducting your market research and identifying the trends and the opportunities. So when you're diving in, Danny, do you look for opportunities? Do you look for the trends, bro? Because, marketing and sales requires a lot of execution. Do you look for that?
Not really. I mean, you adapt. I don't really think we don't focus so much on the mechanics. We just focus on just going out and doing things, and then you adapt. Like as you're pushing. I feel a lot of this happens a lot. A lot of people get lost in the mechanics, even when it comes to things that they want, or things that they're looking to create. Like, you just create it and you adapt as you go. Right? Well, and this is all coming from things that we see every day. Exactly. We look at things every day, we have an idea, and then we start seeing certain things, and then that idea starts to like disappear because now you're like, oh, well, somebody else is doing that, and oh, this, this happens all the time.
They get
right.
discouraged.
But when you're younger, you don't think about stuff like that. You just go. Like you just took risks when we were kids. We would just take risks. We didn't think about what people thought about it, if other people were doing it. Like we didn't think about stuff like that. That started happening later.
Yep.
And it's all the things that I'm talking about because people get lost in the mechanics instead of just going out there and doing it. So what? Like how many plumbing companies are there in the world?
Yeah.
You know, there's room for everybody to make money. So the moment I hear somebody like, oh, well, somebody already took my idea. Okay, well, I mean, that if they're doing well, that gives you the like you now know that you can make money doing that.
Exactly.
Why is it discouraging you?
Right. It gives you that okay.
But you should be worried about starting something that nobody's ever done.
Exactly.
That's where the fear needs to kick in because then you're like, okay, well, I'm doing something that's never been done before. But if I see somebody else doing something, if I see a trend that's working, shoot, we're gonna go straight towards it. Why steer away from it?
Exactly.
If it works, it works.
Listen, y'all heard Danny. If it works, it works. Go into it. If it works, it works. I'm telling you guys. Now, Danny, you know that I do marketing, you do the sales, and we do this, right? So when I dive in, I always think about developing a comprehensive sales and marketing strategy. A lot of people go into this, Danny, they think they can just wake up and have this big, huge market and they can just all over the place. Can you please express how important that comprehensive sales and marketing strategy is, bro? Because there's a lot of people that dive into the field and they don't develop that before they dive in. So can you please expand on that, bro, what I was talking about?
What do you mean when you say that?
Like, man, I know people don't have they're not strategic. How important is it to stay, to make a plan, a strategy with this marketing to execute, man?
Again, you gotta look at things that are working. I mean, are you talking about marketing a brand?
Marketing a brand. They can market a brand. You can market your music. You can market anything, man. Anything needs a strategy.
Look, for me, it's all about getting attention. Mm-hmm. That's what marketing is, and I think a lot of people confuse the idea of it. Everybody out there looks at marketing where they're like, oh, I want to get sales and I want this and I want people, so I need to start marketing my business. No, you need to get out there and get attention.
Exactly.
And you need to get people to know who you are.
Yeah.
Because just because you have a website online doesn't mean that people are going to your website.
Exactly.
Just because you have a social media page or you post something on social media and you're getting a bunch of likes doesn't mean that people are going to buy from you.
Exactly.
That just means they might have scrolled past your post and they liked it, but now try to sell them something and you see how difficult it really is.
Yeah.
Because they're engaging with you, but the goal is how do I get them to really understand and know what it is that I do, who I am, what I'm trying to offer, why they need to buy from me. Like all these questions need to be answered for the people that you're looking to target.
Exactly.
Because if not, so yes, the strategy needs to be, how do I get attention? That's what the strategy needs to be. Not as far as, okay, let me just pay some agency or let me pay some firm to do some advertising. No. How do I get attention? And where do I want that attention to go? Do I want it to go to my website? Am I selling an event? Am I selling a product or service? Am I selling myself?
Right.
Like what's the idea behind this?
Exactly. I love that, Danny. See, I told y'all, man, Danny gonna come in here with that heat, with the facts, right? Please. Now, Danny, another thing that I want to get into that's really important, man, to execute that sales and that marketing is build and maintain a robust email subscriber list, right? How do you feel about emails, man? How do you feel about that subscriber list? Do you still use it in your company to, maintain relationships and maintain business?
Oh, 100%. Emails, everything. We do everything. I'll if I'm driving down the street and I see a business that I feel that is something that, we could go into. I've done this with dealerships. We have a lot of dealerships as customers. Just walk up into the business and just start asking questions.
And that's what it is.
It's the same thing, you know, email, phone calls. I mean, we make cold calls, we make warm calls. We're out there sending out cold emails, warm emails, social media DMs. Like, we do everything. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way, and there's no one way. Like, anybody that depends, this is straight from Grant, like, anybody that depends on one of anything is in big trouble.
Yeah, heck yeah. And that's a fact. Don't depend on one of anything. Get out there, right? Danny's been going crazy with this, right? Now, I got one more, Danny. You know, I got one more, man. Then I'm gonna let you say what you need to say, man. But this is my last question and my last, you know, thing I want to expand on with. But how do you feel about collaborating with influencers and industry experts to expand your reach and your credibility inside your field? Because I know you said, you teamed up with Grant. You had different partnerships. You work with people in the industry. So, Danny, how do you feel about, you know, collaboration, influencers, industry experts, you know, expanding your credibility and making yourself known in your field?
Yeah, I mean, this should be everybody's mantra, and it's collaboration is the new currency, and you know, collaboration is key. You need to nobody that wants to create anything big or wants to do anything that will make any type of impact is going to do it alone. Mm-hmm. Period. And that's collaborating in your business. That's collaborating in your personal life. Like, period. Everything that you think that you want, you're not going to be able to get further than that by yourself.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's the best thing that I can say about collaboration. It's so important. You can't go out alone. You go out alone, and you're going to have a very long road to maybe not even achieving what it is that you have the potential, because a lot of people go after what they want, but they don't go after what their potential is.
Exactly.
And this is something that we're very big on. I tell this to people all the time. I don't care about what you want. I care about what your potential is. Exactly. Because if you have the potential to do so much more and you're not doing it, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice and everybody else around you.
Exactly. Come on, man. I told y'all.
You can't get there without the collaboration.
Exactly. You can't get there without the collab. Look, I told y'all Danny was going to come in with that fire, with that heat, right? Make sure you guys, tuning in, follow me on all social media platforms. Make sure you guys are following Danny also. Danny, where can they find you at, bro? Where can they find you at? Where can they tune in with you at, bro? Besides from this podcast, because I know you're always ripping and running, but where can they tune in with you, look at your work, look at what you're doing, and how to get with you, bro?
Man, I got stuff. I've been searchable online for the last 20 years, man. So, they could find me on all the social media channels from, Facebook, Instagram. They just look me up, Danny Calafell. They could just Google my name, Danny Calafell, and all my, everything will pop up.
The boxing champ. Talk about the boxing real quick, Danny, before we leave, man. Talk about I got to get you in, man.
Talk about. Know, man? What do you want to know?
How did it feel, Danny? How did it feel the whole time? I know you went. It's like doing something legendary, bro. How did it feel the whole time? Like, going into the ring, before the fights, before the mayhem, Man,
like it was so much of an experience. First off, I love the spotlight. Like I love it. I love the attention. I love the spotlight. So many relationships I built just with different celebrities and just I had it's I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
it was crazy, Danny. It was mind blowing.
Yeah, man. It's just it was a lot of fun. Like, I had a good time, and it was an outlet for me. The attention and all that stuff came as a bonus, right? But like, that was my when I talked earlier and I said where I came from, like, the life that I came from, like, the Danny you see today is not the Danny that was 30 years ago or 20 something years ago.
Yep.
So like, I was a completely different person. Like, you guys would not even recognize me. And, I used a lot of that pain and a lot of that anger when I was going to the ring, which is what fueled that. Well, yeah, it was able to be used as fuel, but it was able to really like push me as hard as I was able to push myself. So that's where that, you know, that's where that mentality came from. And I just carried that over to business, man. Like, you know, that's what makes me just keep going and pushing. It's already instilled. I mean, you're doing something. Listen, people talk about doing something for a couple of years and then create habits. Like, imagine, I was doing that for 18 years. That was my life. I didn't do anything else. All I did was box. I had endorsements. That was my job. That was my career. That was my life. Like, everything was boxing.
Crazy.
You know, from going to you know, in the party scene to hanging out with, you know, friends of mine that were, again, celebrities and so forth. Like, that was just my life.
Crazy.
So I just carried all the traits there, man. But you know, I mean, I miss it. It was, like I said, man, that was my life.
Look, man, my brother Danny came on, flamed up the podcast. This episode is going to be coming straight for you guys real soon. Appreciate you, Danny. If you guys aren't following me on social media platforms, follow me. Go to bookwithstack.com, go to stackpackpodcast.com, go to stackpackhealth.com. I'm stacked up. Appreciate my brother Danny for coming, and he ripped it up, man. Now y'all know what it is, man. Sales, marketing, execution. And I will be having Danny come on for more episodes and more gems and more value, because it's all about that value. You can help out over 1 billion people get to where they need to go. You're going to get to the next level. Appreciate you. Stacking with Stack Podcast. We out of here. Let's go.